Ha líniúre táiseach de skipig na ban ag alape. Ha an na Budapest nog genain Hungary ag táiseach immerst dearahí úr an cúchpa na crinnig fa stúr chótúr sat noch is gur éú táiseach a bhís achge in géime fat beo seo BBC alape in rasta héin. Táiseach ag deireach coú siad the stadium farvilla, the stadium Nandor Hudaguti hawl an the Budapest farvilla skipig fa stúr Pedro Martínez Losa skipig ag alape go bhí clúchi chiad game ach go sé cónraim san ook a 4 jólach ar bhí clúchi de galape. Taichid sa hoch tourist geleerd skipper ag Bernin Joel Murray Rimahove. Joel, thanks very much for joining us once again, and it's a big night for Scotland. New campaign, new era under a coach, one or two relatively new faces in the team as well, and a big night, an important night for the team.
It's a massively important night for the team tonight. It's the dawn of a new era. We've got Pedro, who was appointed back in July. It's his first competitive game, so he will want to kind of get off on a positive foot, whilst the players will also want to kind of show him what they can do.
They'll also want to put behind them what was a disappointing Euros qualifying campaign. You'll know as well as anybody, things didn't go as well as Scotland would have liked, and the last 7 games here, a couple of friendlies after Sheriff Kerr had departed, but that disappointing series of results against Portugal and Finland that ended Scotland's hopes.
Yeah, it was certainly a disappointing kind of end to the qualifiers. We obviously, on the back of qualifying for the World Cup, we wanted to use that as a springboard, and we went into the European qualifiers very, very positive and filled with hope, but it wasn't to be, and it was a very disappointing end to that campaign.
Shelley Kerr has moved on. Pedro Martínez Losa comes in place of her, as he did, I think, at Arsenal a good few years ago now. He's got Leanne Ross as part of his coaching team, but this will be a learning process for him and the team in terms of what they're working with each other. Yeah,
of course. I think it's important for the national team and Pedro to have Leanne there. Her wealth of experience and knowledge, both from playing and coaching in the women's game in Scotland, is magnificent. So she will be a very, very crucial kind of resource for him. But yeah, he'll come in with his own playing style and his own ideas, and it'll be interesting to see how he implements them not only tonight but going forward.
We'll have a quick look at the team shortly, but certainly one name we knew wouldn't be there. There's a few big names missing through injury, but Kim Little, having announced her retirement, she's a great player, so she's a big miss.
Yeah, she'll be a massive miss, not only tonight but throughout the campaign. She's a player that I think the word legend gets bandied about quite a lot, but Kim certainly is that, and is that in abundance. She's a born leader, and it'll certainly be strange not to see her out there tonight, kind of bossing and controlling that midfield.
140 caps, 59 goals, I think. None more important than this one, maybe. And you just can't really replace somebody like that who is so important for the team and for you as individuals, I think.
Of course, she's absolutely irreplaceable. We speak about role models, and Kim certainly is that to the grassroots players, but she's a role model to us as well, and you will certainly not replace a Kim Little.
Well, Shalini Lashin, Hali New the Tosho, skipping a halapatin of Lia Macher Fark on the Budapest, Stachi MTK Fuse Budapest. A cluch on the league in Fed, I guess MTK Hungary. A stadium ud a hachge howlishin, Rachel Corsi has the skiln genoeg the galape on the Medochdois and that's skipping a mui. Ede Fark, Honig Schniatishin, Hungarian in the Horshoch, ha. As een dag is een kerf uit aan de rangen in FIFA, alape ik fiet siga behoort de galap in de schaar. Na je het een ach, wel quick vis, toshach linu ja, je nunger kujak voor stuur goed, ja ramachach, ne loje naast het niet. The Alexanders Rachel Corsi Kelmistre Hoyolach the Hale of a Lichen City Agus with the game in the Galapa Kujok. By Nation to Hungary nicht. Voor as jy hier son moet jy rookig begin agus bekeinig doen met van game met der sasin agus in Hungary how on the Budapest van Hungary gaan jy zijn doel kom hier soortje een bij me koorst bij de vaak skocht dat kom hier zo akalaram ach maar kunt er nog regorig de gemeente geen goeie erin naar Hungary. So there's always some of these awkward moments where you get presented with something you're not quite expecting and you're unable to name the former players you're being presented with trophies. I'll excuse myself if no one else will, but as a player, is this a difficult thing? This happens quite a lot in pre-game situations, particularly in women's international, sort of being presented trophies and being presented caps and things, and it just adds a little bit to the delay.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think as a player, as soon as the national anthems are finished, you're just looking to get those kind of match tops off and get the game started. So this, of course, is probably an unexpected delay for the players who will be hoping just to get the game started.
There's a lot of experience having retired there by the looks of things. Hungary in a transitional period as well. That'll be tricky for Scotland as well, not knowing quite what to expect with some of the players who play domestically and a new coach in charge of the team.
Yeah, I think that's always the case when there is a bit of transition on and off the pitch, whether it be from a player's perspective or a coaching group. But I think for Scotland, we need to focus on ourselves. We need to focus on what we can do in our strengths and try and exploit Hungary's weaknesses.
Showskipper Margaret Kratze van Jeramalchuk Tuigerson Goedemach na Halappe Bishologer Nanamen Nick Chishar is door a Zellerstoche van de Vrouwenbundesliga en ik heb in was in de schalting weer de staurige nuri haatle tinjini kluchese Jeramalchus en Jetalch San Homes Hashin Achke na Hanamen Slanik kluchter in de Halappe ishin UEFA Shakira gaan Hishin Yemi Christy Grimshaw see Bulloch doing shin with Lisa Robertson Fiske me Jane Rossick and I mer haye shin kata like Cuthbert Hansens Emsley Ulige Kamaltaikri Doherty's McLaughlin in the Cleachin of his Suez Shias Fark le Beatty agus Corsi Hoyola shin Mian Elaine Jean Henrietta Chishar ik international ik in Milan I call the Rachel Corsi shin agus a Rachel Frida Nielsen as an Danavak ne hof ik ulig as an Danavak Frida Nielsen Sidsel Rasmussen Fie Brun en truur shin a hoor wie mooi shin kuju nissergi akkenje van die wachter a kluik ik MTK Budapest ik Hungaria a kluik is stadium see hy se ook gaan jullie achter pikken jy mich ne kluik maar hy terug 3 tuil met haar in deze Chile ha ook kujok vier brandgeus wachter is vir acknowledgation a ga jol zeg kujok le zeller van Ivago a kluik ik French Varos I guess en daar skip ik het al is jag gaan huddle Mian Park. Líniúr gan basketball immer stú ter vi cúpan na crunich da vílas trí ríget an Australia agus New Zealand in Chanúie a hacha buin as a bhfuil Spáin, Alappe i Ukraine, Nungre agus na Hilan Farach. Spáin mar haag bar na buinnig rent a chúsir na Hilan Farach, Jich in Johnny a bhaid. Lisa Robertson, a Camelore as a skippy, was an a dress tourist, sé clúche fasca gyrig lín. Shelly Care agus yn o'i irni tŵr tosio mian y bliona. Glwn i'r gol. Na clwychyd yn halad y chanil, na clwychyd yn Hungary. Fer mae'r hachar yn gêm yn ffet le sasin. Alap agus tosio ma, Lisa Robertson. Cachlwch yr as chyn y chwl. Agus sŵhag tra ys i gêm, ga Christy Grimshaw. A hasi is yn cwndri Lisa Robertson. Mian y parc. A hier clwyche nes lehyn i'r ffarc, dy galape, yn y gemi chynele. Sbeintje nog eich gyn, maar in nie alape, mi aan de park had gaun de schön, maar zijn brin hier Kim Little, wie ha Caroline Weir, Lucy Graham, Lucy Evans, Cormashok, het had de galape tra, een bal, de bulloch gema, wo Kirsty Hansen, she is al my viesh. Gamas er Jane Rose, agus Erin Cuthbert, feine shache schön. Shitaku Margaret Kratz, de glúich daiem gan i ger amal heen. Chyrfi sas an nopper coachi an y komen i ger amal fat y beach fawr. Os gwyd i glúich y cyr dyn efo tram as mam a'ch eine. Corsi's beatty Alexander Robertson. Tor gem ich in y farach y Corsi's beatty na Robertson ach mae'r cherer had 4 jolach mae'r chneef dromig yn y skipig. Jyn was ik i handen y cwjok. Cuthbert, it's in Toin. Beetje een weekend in Thor, zullen we. Erin Cuthbert, de vier en knoeien in een goed gedolly heen. Clear Imsley, vanaf she is a live glee. Venus hier cool, de kutje kach, gaan hij beloch. Genevalen, minetskele, geloch. Joel Murray we may have Kujok. Joel, we had said maybe question whether Christy Grimshaw would sit there in the midfield. She certainly seems to be beside Lisa Robertson. Pedro Martinez Loseno with an embarrassment of riches in midfield at the moment anyway, with the likes of Kim Little having retired, Caroline Weir out and the rest.
Yeah, of course. We spoke about it at the top of the show there about Kim retiring and the injuries being a disappointment. However, what it does, it provides an opportunity for players like Lisa to come in and stake our claim for a place within the starting lineup. And I think, as predicted, we're seeing a 4-2-3-1. Christy and Lisa predominantly sitting. I think out of the two, Lisa will be the player who sits in front of the back line, allowing Christy to kind of join in the attack. And I think that suits both players' kind of abilities.
Erin Cuthbert looks like she's essentially been given a free role, which you would expect, I think.
Yeah, of course. I think Erin will thrive on that. She's extremely lively. She can drop into pocket. She's on your shoulder for 90 minutes. So yeah, I think she'll thrive on that position tonight.
Alderwate, Rulemach, Jenny Beatty, Dirachkur, Becken Kus Irishin. Nora Kovac, Gabel Shach Geisen, Voorkutje Skippige Kanungre Kluich. En ze nu ik geheen Turanje gehoorlijk bij Leverkusen. Tjusar, een meer in het park, maar hoort me kloeg ik inter door een zeldelijk Leverkusen kujok. Moet je er live glie. Hendiger is in holt in jullie. En gaan het chiki is je kujok kloeg is een doe aan je hakken. Wachter, ik een mooi. En daar de pinnen zeggen gezien. Is je van Kjal. Ben ik jou? Pan je moest jaren weer meer kanungre, maar natuurlijk juif. Gaat de hockey uit dag pinken en nu Latvia. En ik ga met de vacuüm naar de Slovakia vanaf. Op het truimischen doorgegeven Kirsty Hansen heb. Een andere plaats, ga je mee baden. Doherty. Doherty, Jensie Ross, naar Purin, een versmaak Puloch. Vago, gach luchtje mag go Virag Nodge. Tí seachcha as a bhíon Doherty sin na céinteach nach éig I chluiche daró a sin seachadara fiche bud na géis nóid tegin na chluichic MTK Iad sin ag bar líg silmi drast Ferin Schwaros silmi bhónich yn nŵri Gra silmi o'r a dyna fi bwloch céinteach an na cwtch gynnistrach ar I rwsich mi'n skip yn Hungary Het yn y dŵlyn my game yn ban han yn hol dwych a feilseach ag fistrach is cryniach ag gynnistrach I mar I fydd yn ochus Cuthbert fwy'n pifwr ysyn ach dyn nhw'n ma Ca clwch féin ymach a triplach Rhys yn bal ysyn tirach rwater hosioch yr Emsley nagis Lila Turanyi Bayer Leverkusen tirach lygalis Gollamach A couple of times now Claire Emsley's clearly getting space in behind the fullback there. The pass has been too heavy, but they'll keep trying that until they get it right.
They certainly will. I think we've got an abundance in pace in both wide areas through Kirsty and Claire, and you alluded to that there. Yeah, we've tried that a couple of times, and I think if the weight of the pass was better, we might have been more fortunate.
Cuthbert, Cormaker show haast Cuthbert, cymryd dol la ein, stoch y gwal, sŵr yn y ga cws, haast y dol, Hansing yn y fiain, bal cwmlwsioch yn y ffos cwl, ha pwch a bwlch y Gemsley, Jane Ross y fawn y ieri sy hyp y lygal, ach fa, Cormaker stoch y twrys ni ga, Cuthbert yn o'r biach yn y hyn, Niwn sy fa, y cwrstad y Doherty, salat yn y siach y fa, ach yn Cuthbert yn o'ch gyfeli, An de sound is een rie le chevalde. Nog een riesje aan. Doherty. Rasch genoeg goed. Emsley, voor een bewoording. Jesus is J Sports. Hij forste nog. Geliefd in de rash. And that was. Certainly eye-catcher made in Cuthbert. You felt she was about to take the shot on a couple of times, but just couldn't quite get an effort away.
Yeah, I think she delayed the shot. I think she could have hit the shot a little bit quicker. However, she did recover the ball, and we were unfortunate that we didn't get Jane nor Claire on the cross at the back post.
We see it again here. She's certainly full of confidence that she can take these players on and beat them. Just maybe run out with the sheer weight of numbers in the end, though.
I think so, yeah, I think so. And it looked there on the replay that she was ever so slightly off balance, so that was maybe our decision not to hit the shot earlier.
Tá seach gléfant ag alapach da 7 minútin ar ul seachad mar ha. Lee Alexander ar fwy I bihast. Tar is ni agata hat yr rhys seachad yn ryblat yn mi yn y parc mar sy'n. Was wel in de Gaila. Ach, lappen and scourish in the Fiat Javala in your Ashes spot. Clearly, as soon as Scotland turned the ball over there was 3-4 players all pressing on the ball. So that's clearly an instruction. If we'll use it in midfield, get it back immediately. It's a very Spanish philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It ties in with that Spanish philosophy that Pedro's probably bringing into the game. And you're right, we lost the ball, and within seconds we've got 2 or 3 players crowding the player in possession out in the hope that we can regain the ball.
We vaderach bakante shoshe. Bakante yelds nog if ik het in de goede sa show een gneef klonjishin van den henik lehunie. Akkel of kan fatten. Doherty. Daar kunnen we wel tot zo alleen verglien, alleen die is je kan laten niet. Toch dit nog eens kan niet van balig gaan aan. Chiki, ik hakken. Als nu aan je heb ik kloeje een skip in ma. En wie is een skip in ma aan de Champions League in baan? Hakken kan we naar Bayern Munich, Lyons, Benfica. Happer boeiend de reversion. Jaisen en zo aan niet. Zo'n mungerach na misk. Briest gehaal. Je geria mag smach gezien. Hier is ik een eigen ongelukkig MTK. Van die wachter is een. Eigen zei Lille Schipos. 9 tail dat er in die schachke aan de 3 gemmichen zullen mee wijn had er kloeje aan de league Hungary. De golde Richard McLaughlin, de waren Lestad, zo Joris Zeller. Je ging in is jolig, is de schar, is de skippers toch. Als je het maar, lijkt Kirsty Hansen er als van nee, ik kunt je hoog. Grimjo, Agus Hansen, Karanka, eigenlijk een hele gele region. Hansen, ik Man United, Grimjo, Casey Milan. McLaughlin, ik Rangers, kan goed je hoog. Chiki, Kahatal, Jemzi, Vago. Gaat terugvallen, was schön. We gaan kijken naar de rater is rad. Zo met een nummer visa. Kirsje schön fjagro. Kirsty Hansen, Kerskiljo, Kipikersson. Er is een beetje kerstgeljoor de rust, Jury Prakke is in nog gewoon naar de goprige kliwante gelappen. Ja, ik zag het, dus een Hongere serie alappen. Ja, pelogs toch een vechtkeloch geljoor geval, ze hier gaat. Lisa Robertson er, Chigor Steenjesje, gaan hier wel een jaar in de wand, ze er een Kasper de Wand, ze liggen rasch. Wel nee. Had ik het daarheen aansluiten met Lisa Robertson en weer aan. Emsley. Ze is alleen. De Ross, Emsley als hij hier is, de Ross ergol die heeft. Je hebt een taal er vast. Zit hij steden cool doen. Groeien duur ze wel van hier kan worden. Both sides turning over the ball quite often. I think Scotland would hope to be a little bit more careful in possession at times.
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be frustrated with their inability to kind of keep the ball for longer spells at the moment. We spoke about Scotland regaining the ball pretty quickly after losing possession, but I've been impressed with Hungary equally so. They've been doing the same, and they've been doing the same with a bit of aggression. Erin taking a sore one off the ball there, so yeah, they're kind of aggressive in their press. They're extremely structured. Scotland are finding it hard to break them down, and will certainly be frustrated at their inability to again keep the ball.
Richard McLaughlin via een rasch gedaan. En het hij Kirsty Hansen weinig zinnig. En ik mag van ik Hansen ik McLaughlin. Kwats waar Alice coaches gebenast in de karameltjes spelakvik. Ashanta Wiel is hoog tjeg. Met een linie waar Steffi Jones gehaald is in de karameltjes. Knoa zag ik smeunen ook in even. Pedro Martinez losa. Hansen, kamal watcher. Excessive as a water aan een Chiki is. Chiki kloeie gehool, hij met hele daar hol als league. Ja hakken. Hij prep finish en dan gaan we naar Serbië en Chiki en ik in Karsle weg in de bereik er blijven de kujok. Bal laten, roaten, riech er vanaf. Wel Lila Schipos, gaan we even versker. Corsi tolerasjes dan ook aan van Piti. Mag ik het toch het wel Lisa Robertson is sturig cushion to Corsi er lijn die eerste lijn in. Piti via een bal laten gaan. Emsley, zit er slim mag geven maar terug. Emsley toch in de lijn hoe die prijs geweilig in de garage. Paring bit geschinnert. Garden Christi Grimshaw sil me in the park. Fische puchte gerard va vi in the park geschachene fuchs. The ball to Emsley seems to be the out ball for Scotland, but they are struggling to play out from the back with the structure. Oh, Seanish Corms toch. Chilimico Joel Jirach on the jig le Cuthbert to the Valerie is a fuchs, Gish na high. Roin Hastic, Emsley, through is a fuchs, Emsley Fiachin. I guess Fiachin Boate, Shachat at the first. Maybe a lack of patience here from Claire Emsley's held with options in the box, but she is the out ball from the back, even if the ball isn't really moving quite as swiftly as Scotland would like.
Yeah, she certainly is. I think Scotland are struggling to break down the rigid 4-4-2 formation at the moment, and for me, I would like to see more passes breaking lines. As you said, I think Claire is predominantly their out ball, but it's few and far between that we're fully executing either the pass or the touch. So I'd like to see that kind of fine-tuned, and again, ball coming off Kirsty Hansen and out for a goal kick. So a little bit of a scrappy opening for Scotland that I think they'd be fairly disappointed with, and hoping to kind of fine-tune going forward.
Gaan je tussen het ene recht. Zo, was het maar. Ross, Cuthbert. Gooi shit, hij gehaast penalty voor Bikere aan prep finish. I guess well, Reini Earp irvale 1. Hij keri, ze kast voor je aan. A prep finish galape, a kast voor je. Ik een ungere, I guess je kluche maar was zo. A yellow card, she's trying to win the ball, Joel, so that's probably fair, but it's a really nice bit of work between Cuthbert and Ross.
Yeah, it's a great combination, a fantastic touch from Jane and a fantastic through ball. The defender has kind of naively lunged in there, and Erin doing what she does best, getting her body in between the player and the ball, and subsequently gets the penalty.
Erin Cuthbert heen, he goes that. When it's both, Patricia Caroline Weir goes that. Actually, Cuthbert a hound. Savelijk Skinner, Cuthbert de East, Tolvenish, Cuthbert in een aardige pik en ach, hij hier Tull, Delene, Pedro, Martinez, Losa, Ekalapa, Erin Cuthbert. Kijk hoe de Rocha voor een Hungary. In een aardige ach, en je zin kujeffe, Hapurin, de shocks, such fuse, ik ga me lemach. Agus Cuthbert in Horshach hier Galapa Horshgaive, and see the penalty again. It's a bit of an effort to make the ball, but it's not the best penalty, is it?
Yeah, it's a disappointing effort from Erin's standards, but she stays focused and gets on the end of the kind of ricochet, and has the confidence to put it in with her left foot.
There's no messing about the follow-up, is there? She's already disappointed she's missed it. She's just, I'm just scoring this and let's get on with the game.
She certainly is. She's all over that. She will be disappointed not to kind of get that from the first effort, but a goal's a goal and we're 1-0 up.
She's noticed a county. Ik kan hier eens een kuju alape er Horshach in Cuthbert. Dus je schachgetoltje ik je te galape. Moet je meer gaan in de Cymru, de bereik hier op Lyon, dat je in een kaarstel wachten. We die tol maar haar en deze ze de Chelsea kutje en de Arsenal. En jullie veel meer aan Corum gaan het mee. Gijzen, kunnen zo. En ik heb verder is goed gisteren skippen gezien. Voor de veluret te wonder in moren, saar goed erin nog. We die tegen de tuil jacht is het de Calvary Arsenal. Emsley, die is Kovac en Mialik bekend. Corum goed gaan de wien. Hieke Haaske Hansen, oh gaat door die ploeg en door wij Kioris. En je niet hier door, gaan ik zijn in oog krijgen. Hansen is een naad, jaarst. Kunnen we zo vjagen wie Gutsch voor Dorzellerach. Guim Zellera gaat de Guim Nunga Fata. Lies Robertson gehoord zeggen, dat is juist je laatje als je maar. Een kader is je. Chishar de vakel het waar. My first instinct, Joel, is that there's not a lot wrong with the challenge, but it is a painful one and one that I suppose we have to say a lot of European referees are going to penalise. We've said that for about 20 years, though. I think.
Yeah, we have. I'm not entirely sure why that was a free kick, but Claire
Maybe the follow
certainly.
through instead of both legs there.
Potentially, however, she fully won the ball, and I don't think there was much contact on the shin. But like you said, I think we're used to kind of the nature of that kind of post tackle fall. So yes, not a lot in it for me.
Scotland have got the goal. Not really fortuitous. It was a great opening they made, and okay, Erin's penalty wasn't great, but she put it away without too much trouble on the rebound. And one of the maybe things that you could have criticised Scotland for over recent months has been maybe a lack of creativity, really finding it hard to break teams down. They'll hope to build on that and maybe give themselves a bit more freedom to pass it a bit, to try a bit more movement, to see if they can get into a groove.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me tonight, I'd like to see a bit more intensity in Scotland's play, on and off the ball. Hungary are a very rigid 4-4-2. They're sitting in, and when a team does that, it is naturally hard to kind of play against and break down. But when a team does that, you need to kind of drive and commit players and drag them out of those rigid positions, and I think Scotland need to be better at that.
Nuair a dronig, is na géimi hin na Suain. O Cormachó agus dócha Alexander for a line. Slí Alexander Jenna Magariru Jenna Mach. Gonna Kasanik Dorazella. Ik Bayer Leverkusen. Huri Mach Hichke Christatore. Chapal Mahavaun. It's a really good reverse ball in here behind Rachel McLaughlin.
It certainly is. It's a fantastic ball that splits the defence. Rachel got caught on her heels, but a fantastic reverse, and Lee doing what she does best, reacting to it and coming off her line and kind of saving the day.
I'm sure the line is nudge le cheval. Jarig Edash Gahokal in the VN views. Rafash continuation Zeller van der Ries in me Fjern Veen Hikke. Nudge Kluchers on the koken to the cinema machine hand. Gaan jullie er nu aan het schema dat de national toch liggen. Rachel Corsi kiet figet se keren ook. Kiet ja je krijgt het BT return. Meteens Claire Ross is jolige kiet. She krijgt de grosse herval en ist. En de Solnge Rangers keert uit. Ze gaan meer jakkesen. Hier geen deze jakkesen. Kijk er aan naar Hamilton. Ze erop terug gemaakt. De doel aan de laag is het daar. McLaughlin en Gra. Het is meer een B corner. De galappen in de zit. Karsti Hansen de vier van Jewel in de stjach. Hanegi schachet. Hier goed erop. Little half shout for handball there. She does turn her arm into it, but I'm not sure you're going to give that even in today's game.
Yeah, I think that's an ambitious shout, Derek. I think it was a natural arm position there. I think Kirsty could have held on to the ball a bit longer, drove towards goal. I think she tried to cross and released it a bit quick.
Cuthbert gonna be ein. Tuchia Haastik Alappe or a Fuchkish, Lisa Robertson. Kom eens echt, Shanianu, Ganegi. Ik cast je Michael de Waal, de Pulach maar hier zijn Shaneen. Gaat door Jenny Beatty Fask. De Waal is een vuurtje ze varok. Such jiggly ha. Jenny Fask er kiet game en doe ik je. Want je mag er hier als je verp finish. Cormachón is Jane Ross is die. Bracht toch zoals gedaan. Maar met vehu, vier en jikkige. En is 5 jaar groter hosje gereed. De Novikog als een Danawerk. Haro. She looks onside to me. Looks like she's timed that run perfectly.
Yes, I would agree. I think Jane will be very frustrated at that, because I think that whole build-up, that whole play, everything was perfect there, including Jane's run and timing of it.
There's no such thing as too perfect, but I suppose if you do time it tightly, just with the one player stepping out, you stepping in, you can look a mile offside when it's not even close.
Yeah, of course. I think she was at least half a yard onside there, so it was disappointing to see it being kind of called for offside.
encouraging though, Jane Ross back in the goals at Rangers, looking keen to get in behind the defence. It's kind of what you want to see from her as a centre forward.
It is, yeah. Jane has an abundance of experience at club level and international level, and she brings goals. So I was delighted personally to see Jane back in this squad, and she'll certainly lead the line and lead it well. And I'm hopeful that she can get on the score sheet tonight.
Nummer erval. Enger as je riest, is er goed mag van de kassen en Kirsten Hansen. Is er toch in de wal liggen? Hier ook weer in de Halifax in Yorkshire. Nog in de Halappele. Maar al op een rechtje. Cheeky. En waar. In de Gorstige. Hansen en Waalde. Kijken ze niet. En dan dacht ik. Dan ik karre gork in de kassen. Zo je toch. Is een nooit uitzien. Nuas. Cheeky. Blion riegen te geus. Ruis mee geschön. Dat was het nieuws in Cuthbert Karst. Laperische tjene maar Hansen tjene verlaten Lisa Robertson woont niet ik het Emsley is toch niet aan Kormich Ristoge Palmagen Ross is nog een Ross Lokilores en hier ging heen naar Hanner Woodbeklak ik gaan hou. Looked for a moment there as if Claire Emsley could have run on with it. She passed it to Jane Ross, who obviously didn't reckon she had the pace to get in behind there, but the effort was a bit weak in the end.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think a little bit too far out for Jane in the end on her weaker foot, but certainly Claire, I think, should have and could have drove a bit more with the ball towards the 18-yard box, where she probably could have got a shot off.
Robertson. Cuthbert de Waalde, who had doing ever sin. So who ruin va Ries, ja, Rossers en de passe ook al. Doherty, zoals alleen de Junsie Emsley. Junsie Klevavagen, Nahai, Lekovac. Hij is geplion naar Richards. Gaan je niet, maar hier klootje van de show. En dan gaan je morgen gaan beginnen. Ik heb een miljoen gehad er. If je blok eentje gaat, gaat door Michel Warakare aan de Kemele en Hungary. Kun je toch nog een uur kun je kun fijn een korm van de manager uur. Achke Kratz verder met het hager te gelappen voor Pedro Martinez Lotsa. Maar mijn krap is niet prima als ik leeuwje. Hakel de goed uur gelappen. Prima, maar hoor je games. Een sliego aan de show. Echt drie weken, maar goed. Ik hier ik maar dat is een staatje neertje. Zo rank meer ik. Bordeaux. Hij is sterven ook gemaakt. Arsenal. Nu in Wagen. Robertson riest. Veen de Walen. Toch je was alleen bij Emsley. Die heeft al als jij. Maar die Joey en Katale. Die Turanje wel. Dan heb ik een oorlog. Dan zijn er wel af. Corsi. Kloek Kansas City in is. Charleston staat je nu niet. Doherty lekker. Nodge si fiach meer vallen woipen. Garoy hier Calavarach ga. Weet je nou de bigger. Quantries toch le checken verrussen. Je die ruiken je stigi. Staat van Hungary genoeg. Goed tussen al apper en binnen zag ik. Dat je keer. Van Hungary. Wachter. Vind je tot de geuzerie Shisha. Emsley, er is Gian wagen de Waal. Emsley, Everton. Daarnaast sta hier nog. Kijk eens naar je Markussen. Gewoon een jaar in deze. Vijf uur hier tullig gehaast. Cuthbert de Waalde, 4-1 gaan de Vasek. Grim Jorgen, Chanegi Bulloch, Lisa Robertson, Fennis Shach, maar er Reini Gotrich in deze Galavia Celtic. Zijn is voor Stuur Scott Booth, Birmingham City. Kirsty Hansen, Riest. Give me larger. Coming up to half-hour mark, Joel. Scotland will be content. They're up 1-0. Will they be happy with how they're playing?
I don't think so. I think for me, we're forcing too many passes forward, and we're making poor decisions. So I think we need to be better at that. When the ball's not on to go forward, can we keep it, move Hungary and create the option to then play in behind them? But at the moment, we're forcing the ball and we're making poor decisions. That's subsequently meaning that we've got a turnover in possession.
Of course, you Dalarash. Go Alexander. Go Alexander. Karen Kles Manuel Neuer, Chin Machas of Ukazeki, in the Machko, Liach Schliegel. Corsi Dolkalar, a fein serve. Just for a second, it looked like Rachel Corsi wasn't getting that. When Scotland maybe getting a bit impatient as well, Lee Alexander coming out so far, almost as if trying to give that extra player to get a bit more width in the defensive line when they're trying to pass out.
Yeah, of course, and that's the nature of these games. When players kind of park the bus, so to speak, you need to kind of retain that composure and that focus and that patience, because ultimately, if not, that's what leads to poor decisions, poor execution, and potentially goals conceded. So we need to be patient, we need to be composed on the ball, and we need to execute our passes better whilst also making better decisions.
I should go Ruata. Alder via Mach. Riest, Ruata, Kirsty Hansen. I guess it's good. For Arenjegin, Nachel Kamheksin. Kilshin Kavi Breen was in the Nisa Schlie. Coach na Halape, Pedro Martinez Losa. Ispanchoch ha, I hit a coig on the goose. Sanisht, the Wallach, Halape, Sturi, go Coop in the Krinigers and Darnaturus. On the Achtri skip in the band. McLaughlin. We should even ruin you in Look at the Rangers. Hansen. Hier het Holger Dezen. Hier is Tulgezelja Manchester United. Hier is misknend Holdersen. En Slimer hoort me. Vijver hier het Holdersen. Afshin, maar vast truager hier. Nicola Doherty, Vemi Tanka, Horsha, Lisa Robertson, er zijn Sinead Riest. Fashion Nomasach, Rachel Corsi. Things are not flowing quite as Scotland would like. Lisa Robertson's having a very Lisa Robertson game just in front of that back four, though, always getting the foot in which she needs to.
Yeah, she is, and certainly she's very good at that. However, I'm sure she would want to be playing on the other side of that, whereby she gets the ball off the centre halves, receives it and plays it, because that's what she's best at. But it is a very scrappy game, and it's a game where they do need Lisa to kind of put the foot in when it probably is 60-40 against her. But she does it, and she does it well. But yeah, frustrating. Rachel passing the ball out the pitch, she won't be happy with that. We just need to tidy things up and execute things a lot better.
Benungere revision nog wel schön. Goeie Piet de Graawel. Maar gaan we zijn niet pior met de election law passie in verre de goedje. Niet meer achter. Maar haat er weer niet nog. En je laat heen gitaar kussen groeven. Ik heb jou nachtkes in de vaart. Maar Lee Alexander en dus nu zal ik even schön. Mag ik de kassen ik door zeller. Maar hoor je steeds goed op Rachel McLaughlin. Karen Cuthbert. Who are nu tol in the game. Gaan aan van de sport. Van de pennische echt de zadel glei. Such at the push. Cuthbert wel de schach naar de korm geta. Ze nog een minuut stiek. Alappe woordjes kunnen wel er weer gaat er weer kan schachat. Gematriek. Grimshaw. Achin Toyin is. Robertson Kujok. Robertson riesje bal teruggegaan. Maar geen se clear emsli. Zo hoe in Cuthbert dat er is veel meer op een rasch genoeg. Er is veel meer te bevoortje nog zo. Maar dat gaat maar in bloze dagje. Ja, geen je beelden veel. Hansen en die fijn. Buck and Curran in the stage ook Kujok. Kirsty Hansen's not had maybe the best game. She's had a few dodgy touches, but she has shown again and again, and she's also shown that she can get in behind and create problems for Hungary.
Yeah, certainly. We're predominantly getting success down the left-hand side through Claire, and when it's coming down the right through Kirsty and Rachel, it seems to have been breaking down. But Kirsty's the type of player with her pace and her tenacity and her direct nature that, regardless of that, if you give her one opportunity, she'll deliver. So
Cuthbert going to be in. Gaan alle bekalen kindje gezien. Behalve ook Lard McLaughlin. Natuurlijk dinja gehaast. Grimshaw vier met Gimmel is gezien. Hij jenne magiriru ach hij de pennet zich waard. Je nog bekken te haring. Alleen goeie de wat naar hij. Grimshaw de jenne we jiegel de bal in. Je raast er al op rimmel vuurtjes. Ik kan hem grip. En hij je het wisjes kroonhorsen. Anna Chiki. Plotcher wie toeristige. Anna Chiki getting treatment here. Is she and Kirsty Hansen have had a few kind of meaty challenges that she seems to have come out the worst on a couple of times. You can't really tell though before a game like this whether a team is going to relish the physical challenge against you or not.
Yeah, I think it seemed in the first instance that Hungary were up for the physical challenge. Kirsty is an extremely physical player. We've saw that a couple of times, and she certainly doesn't shirk a challenge.
Chiki Tarink fe cool hiska chicken hier is it. Gaan je hier terug zijn hier wel vart in park. Ik hier kujog. Ga run je nach ke de winkie met een de nu lag en ik glo het in een se komen dus wat ik nog ook. Ik maak een krats, maar run je niet. Chinegi is nog een klootje ietsje. Van die nootjes ging Boris nu maar gaan je nach het. Bekken je mij niet kin. Maar het neemt. Bekken is jodige. Gaat die speaker aan de moeier al even glievig is een klootje. Os, vier we vinden gaan schön. Gaan wij pulog geta. Turani hoe er val helico soch. She posje je mij in doonje naartje chikieschen. Maak zeller. Wachter niet. Klootje druielen. Gamle dolke zeller. Hoe is alleen is ha. Hansen, Jenny Hopper van. Rasch genoeg niet geheen. Lientin zeller vat niet lie. Want ik zit pakken door een zeller. Ik heb bij Leverkusen. Dus dan kan ik in karameltje hakken. Staan we er drie. Chiki er als je er vaak. PT. Toch wordt hij voor een beat. Wachter en is twee in Gormo ook al. Dan Hungary. Moet alleen glie. Shipos je vier ging. Het was je niet los het. Barak Nevali Alexander nu. Lee Alexander's not happy that Shipos gets the chance to shoot there, but she is a mile out.
Yeah, it was a very ambitious strike, but a fantastic strike nonetheless. It's made Lee scramble across our goal mouth and have to kind of give away a corner there. But I don't know if she's frustrated that Rachel hasn't pressed a bit quicker and closer, because certainly that would not allow that strike.
Corner gan under him. Fall off le Doherty. Nach van een dinjachke. Wat er goed achke geld beginnen schön. Daar kook naar ach kan de strijd is de loina Gina nach kachro dinje te mooie vuurtjes voor een enige te wie. Hemsley, even Suagiri, Shirvalda, Sata Shachari, Shivizalle, kook minutes in the goal. There's an awful lot of movement on that ball. It's kind of no wonder that Lee Alexander ended up scrambling, because she's hit that really, really well.
Yeah, it's a superb strike there, but like I said, I think Lee will be disappointed that Rachel hasn't pressed sooner and quicker to try and prevent that.
I think there's a new ball for this competition as well that maybe the players haven't had a chance to use that much. It's always a nervous time for goalkeepers. They don't seem to do the weird things they used to do, though, footballs, and in the days of the Jabulani from the South African World Cup and the likes.
Yeah, I know. I think if it is a new ball, you'd like to think that the players have had the opportunity to use it in training, but nonetheless, there was a lot of movement on that, and Lee done well to tip it round the post.
Befiach met een korren ook al haar boord in Hungary. Ik zal maar gerief voor de gasik. Grimshaw, haar op er weg hier nu. Such gemanjolig uit een push. Vast, Jenny vast gekeerd game gaat doen. Ik kan me hoort niet. In het om de check. Ik het heen zei. Chisar en je is jolig gezien. Ook zijn beeldje in de skipper is en ze. De mij een paar keer zo'n vast gekeerd game kujok. 3 keer mich naar de Serie A en banner in deze zin. Chisar. Robertson. Cuthbert. Gochlen. Zag dat gaan de Grimshaw wat vieren we voeten in één hier. Nu zien we Robertson. Ga ik generiek, ga ik belog hem mislezen jij. Dan gaan we gaan de ballen mislukken gaan mag. Bij de vaak. Wachten, er wordt nog een groeig. Eens vaak horen wie. Maar ik wil meer in de park, eens wachten. Vieren wie. Alle burger voor een pie. Vagos Chisha zie meer in de park komen. Wachten. Schipo Shikanoi. Dat wil ik maar komen de kamernen. Sabo. Dus je bent ook een katatos. Karom de galapele. Daar ben ik geleerd alles zich hier het is. Toch een beetje niet begeroren. Het lachen. Kan wel je schuld maar holen je vakel nog gaan. Is een wel schachert. Nach Bishukuri weer in Heli met hem zich. Kusen het alder een drog na ter kal op kamenen. Two minutes to go in the half, Joel. I think your earlier assessment will probably still stand. Scotland will be happy to be ahead, but not quite happy with how they're playing.
Yeah, I agree. I think we just saw another prime example there of kind of poor execution in the final third, which breaks down the play and essentially gives the ball back to Hungary. And we just need to be better. I think that sums up the first half. We just need to be better.
There is an element of there's a lot of players who won't have played together quite in the way they're playing. They're playing under a new coach as well. We can give them lots of excuses, but they'll know themselves that as individuals there's probably things they could all have done better.
Yeah, of course. We of course need to take that into consideration. The new management, players playing probably in unfamiliar positions with players they haven't played with.
O Corman Shaw, Joel Gamalishko, Gene Ross is Girach Shachat, Nuri Kaler is in Tigli, Hatur, Ashitira Farandarakast, Lisha Hasieshik, Jane Ross, Stalker Cora Kitchen the PR. She's been close to doing this before, gets in again, but just pulls it slightly wide of the post.
Yeah, she makes a fantastic run off the shoulder there and behind, and just pulls it, like you said, off the by the post. I don't think the connection was what she would have wanted there, but I think she would have hoped to at least hit the target.
Excellent pass from Erin Cuthbert. Jane Ross knew that the minute Erin Cuthbert picked that up in space deep, she knew there was the chance to get in behind.
Yeah, Jane was on the move instantly, and Jane's got, again, pace in abundance, so she knows she can give herself 2 or 3 yards, but she's instantly on the move, which allows her to stay on side and take that ball first time.
Davinach, Evarach, Toshach, Iktirig, Hiet Yakoviakin. Vactor. Robertson, Johnny Magariru, Vivienne Park, Eliantin, Shit Rash, Stin the King, Jokurik, Gali Alexander, Gun, Miles a beat. Corsi Kahoga. Gewoon gegaan, maar ik leer er eens in. Dus dan ga je weer naar Jager. Is start geporingi smaak keiner. En als gebied is. Om toch kijk hoe niet dikken kunt je die hier leggen alappen. Ach, ga iets met een doen als kavakoren. Ashko Alexander. Jullie weten er vader kunnen jullie een keurige staat er liggen naast. Voor zijn die Shenzhen Huaves oprimene paardjes een raster kunt scoot. Toeger en toewillen, rasteruit. Was een terug weer in Cuthbert. Smannig al kusunje raken als je hier het leest toch. Chené, schachet. Ik leg slie alappe, het al de schach. Tol, kunjoni, horsach, fair marierige te wie. In Cuthbert, dus hier het hol van de stuur. Ik Pedro Martinez losa. Forse nog. Ga je pennisje savelig. Ach, waar hij het goede schach. Ik kan daar een korm. Cuthbert door Schach, maar sprinje je niet, klein een paar akmu, maar rannik en hier is ze, zoals je fjals nog gehikken, en is kan jullie geweldig alappen. Een coachuur, Pedro Martinez Losa.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, getting into football yourself, and playing football as a child and developing a love for the game.
Yeah, I always also use this one in my team meetings sometimes for motivation. Like, we are all involved in the game, in all the roles, because we just love the game. We have passion for the game, maybe for one team, your local team, etc., etc. And we should never forget that in the bad moments or in the moments when sport is not giving us the best face. I enjoy playing football. I was an okay player. Youth academy, very good in Madrid. We play in the best categories in the country. At the senior level, I was playing a kind of level of League 2 level. Yeah, enjoying the game. But when I was 26, the club where I was playing, they fired the coach for the last 4 games, and they asked me, because I already had my license and my sport science studies, to just lead the team. I was the captain for the last 4 games to save some money, not hiring another manager. So I was the manager, coach for 4 games. We won the 4 games, so the chairman asked me, we want you to stay. And I had a philosophical conversation with him saying, look, I will think about it, but there's no way I will accept the player manager position because I want to be a coach, I want to be professional on this, so I don't think that will help me. And also I was coaching my mates, or my friends I was playing with them. I was their captain, so I decided to give up football. I don't think I was going to win the Champions League playing football as a player. So sometimes I regret because you never can come back to play and enjoy the game. But I still play when I have the opportunity. And then I start coaching, and from that, I coached a youth academy, Atlético de Madrid, for years. Then just little kids of all the ages, which I still enjoy. It doesn't matter that they are not at the highest level. Sports science, so I enjoyed also teaching other sports. And then coming to the managing or coaching career, Rayo Vallecano was the first highest level club where I coached in the women's game, which I didn't have a lot of experience at that time. So I started studying about the game, about the players, about the tactics. I did my pro license, A license, B license for coaching license, and then I was given opportunities after opportunities. 6 years at Rayo Vallecano. We managed to, I think at that time, to build the best team in the country, three La Ligas, 1 Copa de la Reina. Then I had the opportunity to go to the USA. In my opinion, at that time, probably the best league in the world at that time. Coaching players like Abi Wamba, Cali Lloyd, and many others, top talent, learning the culture of soccer in America, the families, the support of the families into education and the role models, big players like Alex Morgan. You can see her at Broadway Street, or these things like that. But you start opening your eyes and you think, well, this is, yeah, I know this is America, but this is possible. Yeah, in every contest, I'm sure the evolution of women in society, the empowerment of women and girls is not gonna stop. So that's brilliant. So I got that from the USA. I was given the opportunity immediately after or during to consider a position at Arsenal Women. Exciting moment where the club needed a little of professionalism of the section, and all the clubs that were already investing, like Manchester City, Chelsea. So we needed to catch up a little. Club with a big history, big tradition, big legends there, big players, personalities, fantastic people. I was there for 3 years, learning a lot, working a lot. We won a FA Cup at Wembley against Chelsea, Continental Cup. And I had also the opportunity to coach some Scottish players, like Christy Murray, like Caroline Way, like Kim Little, Lisa Evans, Emma Mitchell. So that was a great experience. After that, opportunity to go to Bordeaux, 2 years, qualifying for Champions League, learning a lot, another language, another culture, taking the best of it, and then the opportunity to coach a national team like Scotland.
Going back to that decision you had to make at 26, it's not often someone has to make a decision like that at that age. How difficult was it to say, well, you know, I'm not going to make it as a footballer to a certain level, but I'm enjoying coaching at the moment, I'm enjoying what I've started doing, so I think I'll pursue that?
Well, I think, yeah, now I look backwards sometimes and I think, well, sometimes I regret. Say, well, I could play a couple of more years, but I don't regret in the sense that I had very clear vision of, I loved coaching. When I was 18 years old, I was already coaching kids for the passion for the game and to teach. And I had a teaching mentality. I think football is also teaching in some way. At the end, when you prepare tactics, you're teaching the way you want your team to play. I also enjoy the teaching preparation. That means if I want a team to produce this, then I have to do this, the methodological part, the pedagogic part to develop the players and the plan. That was my drive to make the decision. I thought at that time was the opportunity of my life. And then I say I cannot miss it.
What do you enjoy better about it? Do you enjoy that taking the game that everybody loves and breaking it down into technical and tactical aspects? Or do you enjoy communication of that to players and seeing players improve as a result of what you have learned and what you've said?
When I was a young coach, I loved the notebook. I thought it was more about the book, about the concepts, and about the exercise. Now I think totally the opposite. I think it's about people, it's about motivation, it's about leadership, it's about creating a culture, it's about making an exciting future, creating an exciting future for people who can believe it. So I think it's an incredible journey in terms of teaching people what sports can bring, and that's what really drives me to that. Is make things possible. With the sport, is very easy to convince people. Like a group of people can go into the pitch, can produce something to make people excited.
There's coaching and there's enjoyment of coaching, but there's then being successful at it. And as you said, everywhere you've been, there's been some success. When you started at Rayo Vallecano and you won 3 league titles in a row, did that change your thinking about what you wanted to do with your coaching, i.e., I'm pretty good at this and I'm doing something that's working, so you wanted to take it even further?
Well, I think there's 2 aspects of that. The first one, I think for me, success is every day. Success when you win the FA Cup at Wembley, don't take me wrong, it's amazing. But it's just 5 minutes, because after you have to do the interview, after you go with your family, and you have to train the next day. So I think what I really enjoy, and people will agree who is involved in sport, it's just the journey day by day to work with people. When you see someone who give everything for the manager and you are putting all the time to improve the players, that's the part I enjoy more. I think, of course, the other part I think really important is I was always thinking, what is next? In Spain, I had these philosophical thoughts like, well, I won 3 La Ligas, but now what I'm going to do? Just sign for the club. Yeah, so I always had this ambition, but I think I was very lucky and privileged that I was given opportunities to go to the next level.
And as a person, what did you learn from the experiences you had? Living in New York, coming to London, going to France. What have you learned from living in different countries and dealing with the football cultures of different countries? Well,
more life experience are for me that we are too worried sometimes about things that are not important. And it's easier to have a wider mind and a wider picture about and make things in perspective. Of course, when we lose a match, it looks like the end of the world. But I also lost 1 league. Before winning 3 leagues, I lost 1, tied with Levante, same number of points. We lost 1 match in the whole year, and we lost the league because of the goal difference. So at that moment, I thought it was literally the end of my career. And then I didn't know that after this was going to come in 3 La Ligas, etc., etc., etc. So that's the life lesson. I think also I learned about connecting with people and building the personal relationship is the most important when you have to work with multidisciplinary people. Nowadays in football is 20 members of staff and players and families behind. So you just need to bring the best of them. You have to take care of them. You have to make sure they see you like someone they can trust, that you can treat them well. So that's the only route that then you can bring your tactics and your exercise and your not. But that's the second step.
How much does a modern day coach have to accept that all these elements are part of the job? It's not just the training ground, it's not just tactics, it's everything you said. It's the people behind the people that you're working with, and that's just part of it now.
I think it's the biggest part. I think surround you with that people who has different qualities, people who's not telling you used to have the old fashioned that I'm the coach and then don't tell me I'm wrong. I just want the opposite. I want people who challenge me, who is, I don't pretend to be the best. I think I'm pretty good in a lot of things, but I'm not good at other ones. So to have that emotional intelligence, to connect with other better professionals than you in some areas, and to bring that one into your project as a part of the, call it a strategy that we call it the Scottish FA, or our team plan or our player development plan. I think that's amazing, and that's what life is about and what modern football is about.
The vast majority of your coaching career has been in the women's game, the girls and women's game. How much have you enjoyed watching the growth worldwide, which you've experienced in all the countries you've been in?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think to see the fights that I just feel identify like one more of elements of the women's game. It just fights that we had to fight, like training in half of the pitch or in the evenings, or players who were studying medicine and they just go to bed at 3 a.m. in the morning, then training and then traveling to play Champions League and being exposed in front of 20,000 people. And now the route of having inspiring the new generation of girls to think about the game like, well, this is something I want. When we will have girls here at Hampden Park and we will play competitive games, I'm sure these girls, they will want to play football, but that was not there before. building the opportunities for girls, the inspirational part of motivate them then to do sports, to believe in these kind of ideas and to build their own profession and trajectory around the game and around sports. I think that's the biggest part that I have seen and how the game has been developing from the visibility point of view, the marketing. I really believe in women's football as a business also, because I have seen that one in the USA. I'm not saying, yeah, I know USA is another context, but I think in every context it's possible to build the profiles, to make a product that is attractive, to make it look good. My responsibility as a coach is to produce a good show there, a good game of football who can connect with the people. Like we represent Scotland, we make the Scottish proud, independent of winning or losing. Everything is about that, but not totally. And we just make a country proud, and we feel people believe in something and identify, and when you just want to stand up of the crowd to clap or just to cheer for the team. I think that's all about.
When the opportunity to take this role came, how did you feel about it? How excited were you by it?
Yeah, at first I felt a little of responsibility in terms of, just think about it, because it's just representing a nation and a lot of people behind who feel really strong about it, and I think that was a first part of responsibility. But the second one is excitement about, yes, I think we can do it. I think there's a potential there. I think there is a strategic plan to be developed. Things we are aware that in the women's game we constantly we need to improve. There is a strategic plan for FIFA, for UEFA, Scottish FA. So I think it's the right moment, and I'm sure I'm the person who can be the provider of the next step in my role.
Shitakarnish coachúr na halape Pedro Martinez Losa tóir a tóir Jólas hort shachat de chluidir na halape agus mar hí chluidir na Hungary mwy irifag irist on the stadium Nandor Hideguti on the Budapest Tachi MTK skipping a faginachkes alape irentli emach hí sin velacharug semiaun pultin ja nog gezin wat ik chluich as ich hier kujok just trying to cast a quick eye across everybody coming out there. It looks like all the same faces as the first half. You can probably understand any resisting any temptation to make changes at this early stage, halfway through his first match in charge.
Yeah, of course. I think Pedro would have at half-time kind of identified the areas that we need to be better in, and identify the weaknesses in the opposing team there, and he'll certainly be reluctant to make any changes at half-time, and the hope that we can kind of up our game from the first whistle of the second half.
Anything you would do tactically in terms of shape, where people are trying to, the sort of positions people are trying to take up, that you would change?
I think for me, Hungary are a very rigid 4-4-2. They're so compact, they're kind of controlling that central area. For me, we need to be a bit more expansive. We need to get Erin more on the ball, and we just need to fine-tune the execution and the decisions in the final third.
Joel Marik onderruimse alape hosioch yn Hungary. Hawl on the Budapest Tull gynioni Cuthbertlichen Tull. Prep finish is shame gi heen vi Lykkel Galigare goed. Waar de havelig mal is sortshot en de push gan Hungary achter Cuthbert as na jarst. Zijn de bal is jach genelien naar de koram. Is alape goed getosioch ma as niet meer deravi. Spain in brief skipping is aarste is na rangen dan is a boeien nachke ran jetzt na huis in de varig Jachin Johnny away hier game of alnes a boeien Koran Shok Alape Prishik in mag van de goal toch tegen de via het is dat gemaakt le Loinitien de Hungary geta Balachin, Gokassin, Alaperis, Lisa Robertson, Marke Claire Emsley le Unje gehaast, Bal Kondorsach en Wien, Tuchtjak Liene Garaketa, Agus Hungary, Gainer Falavle, Vago Kevin Toriolis, Jekban Figit de Goose, is Pluchem Ninis Chiles, as Nielevische Hilliget, as Hungary heen, Juliansi Visit for Richard McGoughlin. There's a line. Hansen larger, puchtig. Cheeky Faravala. Coming at all his kujok. Fiach in the Sabon is to her karst fwy is hier le. Jane Ross is a viain bal true goal. Is daar het eerlijker is. Dat such never met nul. Gaan je bal maken wel een Jane Ross ach Kirsty Hansen het generation. Good confident play by Hansen up the right, just taking it on herself. I'm going at these players.
Yeah, extremely confident there from Kirsty. I think she had to be, considering there was actually no support other than Jane. We need to get our midfield to support quicker and faster. But yeah, a fantastic confidence there from Kirsty. Gets a shot away and we get a corner from it.
Cuthbert Lish the corner to go up it. BT's Corsi Huas van de Goal. Such geluk al Tuchjak. Al up a Tuchjo. Kersan as er ishin. Kersan a Kirsty Hansen er binnen so. Had er weg in get and jach Kali in the Karishin. The goalkeeper gets herself in a bit of a mess here. I'm not really sure anybody does anything against her.
Yeah, I think she's been given the benefit of the doubt there. She fumbled the ball, and for one reason or another, the referee's given a free kick against Scotland.
Because it's a goalkeeper. No other
because it's
reason.
a goalkeeper, yes. The protected species.
Lappelish haast. Robertson. Nach. In a line glee. Doherty. Couldn't Karen. Stovarash. Gobiti. Gully Alexander hier toe gekische in Darnelje. Joe Havel is hier te. She is a Kassen Zeller. I guess in Lotion. Daar bescharig. Nungrevo. Shipos. Alexander Tollage kan je gemur biach en kenuri ununis in Gorm. She was gore. Slijk weich gerbal Noorshens hier Alexander wie. Na Kavak maken een live gliers en de wel van de maag. En ik noemde de nuoves a groeg. We gaan hier warach als such de nuoves de havel in die en wat er ne pusht geeft in de warach. Ik heb mich in het hier weer lappen. Bij het neun in de vader ga je waarstig handen, bisschen bioschen. Gehorst huku, noorschen als een daver. Had ik een dieriest in de Hungary. Kem Karsel noorschen in de Suijn. Zeker een skip in de jaren en tool. Heb ik een verrest. Voor het 3-2 ik zeg het er Hungary. Als een dag game teravi is nimmerst meerig. Als een verpers in Joorbach. Noorschen rasch kunnen boeien in Oekraïne. Als een having. Agus is Spanje, vallen van huig. Game is kutrimige stoger. Game is hier strijd. Game is in Noorschen in Oekraïne. Agus is Spanje riest. Als ik heb plinten meerig naar een varig. Nu zijn er met je er een aflom. Kutter mag er hier u. Kom je al op even. Joe Toscher ik in de boeien. Als je nachtkijk in hier is ze. Doherty, go Emsley. Bal maken wie een Cuthbert gaat door hier. Hol de Schinketa maar wij Kiori. Hij kei naar de gooien, maar wat koor. Aardig, wat men nu hachtig maar Chiki wat een varken twee kool naar hiske tjeke van nu dan neemt het chinje naar haatjesse. Is that one of those, Joel, where you say, give your hamstring 5 minutes at the start of the second half and we'll see how you're doing?
Probably, I think so. I think it's one of those ones as well. If it's tweaked in the first half, sitting about at half time wouldn't have done the hamstring any favours either.
She's got Champions League games to come against Bayern Munich, Lyon, Benfica for hockey, and she'll want to be fully fit for those games if she's playing.
She certainly will, and she'll certainly need 2 fully fit hamstrings for those opponents.
Gamer wie durf geleerd je naar Kirsty Hansen nog. Hansen is geen een jaar echt kikker. Hij laat u horsje Chiki komen. Neem het dit maar er zo'n Chiki. Toch wordt hij lager is in. Café heen er Hoshager Nodge, ze verrokken zijn. Ze bal kunnen wel maar haast. Emsley is toe gassen niet Noorsen. again, Claire Emsley down the left has been perhaps the most frequent threat for Scotland, and a better ball there in Cuthbert in the last opportunity she had to cross it in.
Yeah, it certainly was, and I think that all stemmed from Jenny having the bravery and confidence to drive from the back, commit the player, which in turn then provides space in behind. So yeah, it stemmed from Jenny. We got the ball out to Claire, and it was a good ball into the box that Erin unfortunately didn't get on the end of.
Lisa Robertson dal dóin i'r iru. Beth i'r fiach mi rhaid le Horsiaif. Robertson yr eisiau yn y tor rwych ysyn. Sy'r eisiau ymach yn y laif chli. Chan almas yn y hir dŵr. Again, it does seem to be the outball they're going for when things just aren't happening, but too often it hasn't been a good outball. It's been too heavy, it's been too short, it's gone out for a throw-in.
Yeah, again, the execution poor there. There was a lot of grass in front of Jenny that I think she should have kind of drove into. Again, talking about committing players, she could have drove into that space, and it would have meant that ball wasn't as hard to play.
Nu glórichte was down the park, so raun was sassing helm on the Budapest we gaan begin jagen is maar schön so glorige wal nach maar terug gaan die een soort van jagen game in de baan. Ik heb goed in je gesnok schön so kein la schön gele dan kan men dan nach ja nog parat naar wezen ordnen. Karon schok Shiposh groenerpe was schön. Maar Fatima, Karen Kolchig show. Ze die schijf in de noord beschaag. Dus 5 jaar in noord. Oor die kasse schachore. Een fijne kerson. Ik look at the Nahalabe, the Gorstige show. This is Shiposh, who had that long-range effort in Lee Alexander in the first half. She does eventually get closed down, but it took a while before that happened.
It certainly did, and you could hear Lee asking for somebody to press because she appreciates the danger that she poses with that wand of a left foot. So again, we were retreating opposed to pressing.
Corm Sean is een hungrig daar. Corm Haas dacht bal magen en Wien wachter gehokal. Hoor lak evaun waarvan hij wachter ik gaan houden dag van. Kusne fiscal gezien va Vago. En die Vago van geen terug van de kassen de Lisa Robertson. Groot heen misschien nog geljoor. Scotland perhaps fortunate that Vago didn't want to take the effort on herself there when everybody was a little sort of off balance, and fortunate again that it didn't fall to Wachter the way she would have wanted it to.
Yeah, I was surprised she didn't take the shot on, but again Scotland causing themselves problems. The ball going in there centrally to Lisa when I don't think that was the ball to play. I think because of how compact it was, I think the ball was down the line, but again it's poor decisions.
Corsi, Johnny Matt. Garshan Nuas, going for Smach, Gaskelico Emsley, I guess. Porrow with Kovachishin and me Emsley at the Homisko Shakatara, Haron Nurat. So Robertson, the new fasa Hakemach, Matrich. Pushing through a Rachel Corsi. Gosling Vimigol Machich Genorshin, Diction, Rashko Alexander, Corsi le. Lavamach ishin. Rachel Corsi apologising to players, but again, was it a situation where Lisa Robertson should have turned and looked for a pass, or should there have been a pass for her in the centre circle where there was nobody in a blue shirt?
Probably a combination of both, Derek. I think I thought the same when Lisa did receive the ball. She went back instead of looking for a forward pass, and
but
I think
she maybe knew there wasn't one on.
Yeah, potentially. However, I think that's happened too many times, whereby we need to be taking the ball on the back foot and thinking forward, thinking positively. However, we're going back to where it's come from, which in turn isn't really moving that kind of rigid, hungry defence.
Hansen, Rolage, Riest, Cuthbert, and Ashko Robertson. Ruinje shall the Doherty's Emsley is at Jamuir and Live Clee, Jesus of Ukis Gata, Feuerwalk, Doherty, and a Trug. Lisa Robertson, Gigleg, the Cown, me and the park at that. Marco Emsley. The Keurig on the line, the fight to the Gritsch, the Keurig on the line, for a ballish in Matt. So now Jean Picker the Van Hoshach there, Emsley run a good chilly, silver ash in the hole. Corsi, there's brak voorga. Mag nog maar even glie. Hier Remsley alles hier. Ja, Remsley. Go we yet, maar ik versker. Cuthbert. Zo trouwen voor in Cuthbert. Lisa Roberts en de Joe Yamesy. Hansen, Riest. Fiachen hier aan. Gaan eigenlijk kale rival Noors en Qatar. Cormajok, McLaughlin. Zo'n schare kalappen. McLaughlin in de ruit. Reunion en de Vermoeie. McLaughlin Tronivien. Oh, heilig. Precies ook shit dat ik haasglie. Ach, was je maar. Kashoto. Haken op af en ik soort wil me hier ik hou haak. Als die Hansen als jij had de horse in drie. I don't think Soch likes that, but there's absolutely no reason why Kirsty Hansen can't go for that ball.
Exactly, she was well within her right to go for it. I think the goalkeeper was frustrated that it's come back in the fashion that it did, but certainly Kirsty was well within her right to challenge that.
I don't think I would particularly pick on the goalkeeper myself if I was Kirsty Hansen's
No,
size.
no, I wouldn't, but Kirsty can more than handle herself, and she's shown that, so yeah, I think it would have been a pretty even kind of free-for-all or fight should it have led to that.
Thankfully didn't quite reach that, but we saw again just a moment ago, you made the point earlier, Jenny Beattie taking a step out from the back, created space. Rachel McLaughlin took the opportunity there. She was unfortunate, the ball just got away from her on her left foot.
Yeah, Rachel done well. She drove inside. She shifted the ball from right to left, and she was just unfortunate that she couldn't control it when it mattered. But a fantastic drive and run from Rachel, and something she's capable of doing, and something I'd like to see her do more.
Diana Chani Junior Fag. China MTK. Skip de dag hier zo. Stuk. Skip ik finish varos. FTC Telecom hacker heen gehoffekel. Chani hij 3 blunderiget. Hij gaan jullie morgen met het vliegen. En geef er wenken naar Serbia. En dan kan Karslevak we gaan beginnen wezen. Ross naar Sabo. Torshoek was Wutbek in we nog. Hoe is ik nou? Nee, Pilkelji Teichgeke ach. Kalaplische Noord. Had de Jan heeft kloeg gemaakt van de goal, maar toe in je haken kan. Ross gaan hier de gammel huchtje in Cuthbert. Rachel McLaughlin kan hier is een lijne, gaan hier passie gepulog. Toch wordt hij nog het door de zoel voor wel chicken. Lekker nodge in de nulls. Jullie zijn een schacher. Nog again. Eugene, aan de Clellan, geholdig. Kutjeri, Martha Thomas. De brein wie Jose Barsala. Vergen de coaching, Huk, Pedro Martinez losse Jack Conrish. Cuthbert. Gesloten garage. Is alleen rash. Reinima, een bal in je rash. Is je hort schacher. Kan toe in je vaart gericht dat. Gesloten garage Levago. Riest Airline Fleet. Then Joel, put you on the spot. If you were going to be bringing on Martha Thomas and Lala Cleland, who would be going off?
It's two very attacking changes, of course, and the nature of the positions. I don't know. It's probably going to be a Jane Ross and potentially a Kirsty Hansen. If we're talking about the front three, I think out of the front three, Claire's been our kind of biggest threat. So that would be my suggestion.
See if you're right. Did I call Lana Cleland Lala? I think I may have done as a slip of the tongue. My apologies. Kamanishka Lana. Korsich in the back for the hole. Niels Skippers in Corruur. Emsley going to be in Palma. Oh, Cormachok, Ross Haas, Cuthbert de Vaal de Jier. De Nurpes Jachne. De Jean was hij heen, hoe staat er? Was je maar bij een Cuthbert. Again, the difference being made by a Scotland player taking a step out from the back, Joelle.
Yeah, of course, and I think as a team who's been asked to park the bus, you're told if you're a central midfielder, these are the players that you should be looking after and tracking, but the problems do arise when your centre halves, your opposing centre halves, do step, because it proves a difficulty and gives a decision. Do they then step? Do they stay with the player that they should be staying with? And again, it showed there, like the Jenny scenario, that we've had a successful attack from it.
2 out of 2, Joelle. 2 out of 2. Thomas, agus Clellander, Ross's Hansen, ball gan a bhíon. Wat a ríis an chorm a chuiriseach Cuthbert. Chorm seo has dócha bhil, Socha sin amach, Martha Thomas, chu giar féidir de farc, cha bhór a féin seach an clúigetar ag Manchester United. Gymach giar féin chun sin Lisa Robertson, ga iach an híchge. She's so close to scoring within seconds of coming on there.
She certainly is. Lisa read it well, puts the ball back in the mix, and Martha's tried to get on the end of it.
Oh, fantastic! Thomas the Ríist, Sníomh Vai heen agus Corsi it dul amach in a posthuis. He'll get a Martha Thomas of Alan, a huur sua hier is it. She van where I jiffery a new spot. Bal the lich in the shach and a fukis. Oh, she chicken the clue the Hungary heen, and there was very nearly an own goal there. Kovac, really fortunate, Joelle.
Yeah, very nearly a spectacular own goal. I don't even think she's facing her goal, and it's managed to hit the back of her head and come off the underside of the bar.
I think Erin Cuthbert maybe just managed to not call Jane Ross lots of bad words, bad, terrible names a minute ago when she made a great header reaching that ball late, and Jane Ross just couldn't get out of the way.
Yeah, she couldn't get out of the way there. Erin connected with it very well. I don't know if it had the power on it to kind of find the back of the net, but yeah, Jane just couldn't get out of the way to get out of the way of the ball.
She's sad. Gachluch eruit. Vago. Gahard Shachat. And Lana Cleland, die zullen allemaal go. Farrow, Hansen er al IBS. Oh, Gromhaas, Boeloch, Makelor. Je Vasker Makelor zijn hier in Ies. Which McLaughlin game, Schieningenmachers en Shin. Is al Aberish, Brische, Gahard Shachat. En is likkelige Gorm nog vallen worden. En hij Hungary, Etienne Vriest. Both the substitutes getting involved. Martha Thomas showing brightly. Lana Cleland maybe just not quite playing the pass correctly there. But Scotland making the difference. They've been much brighter in the last sort of 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking the exact same with the substitutions, making an instant impact. Although Lana didn't execute that final ball, she done extremely well to read the pass and step onto it.
Gosh, will you? Rachel McLaughlin. A Kevin Nooney on the back of rated it. As you get out, nach roon around je niet in de bialu. She rated it. A rule on their Cuthbert shot. I hope Erin isn't making a meal of this just to get the referee's good picks, but it's not often you get decked by the referee.
I wonder if she'll give herself a yellow card for that, but they're both laughing, although Erin was on the deck there. I don't know if it was a foul or the whistle took her off her feet.
Sef rydw i gael ab y cyw. Hwrs gylior. Sy'n y gol gyda'r bered yr hwci hai fel narain I hyn. McLaughlin. Ac o'r man yr is bal chron a gylior hwy as y leina. Christy Grimshaw fa fiach mi fein falaf sy'n. Lisa Robertson. Gath Harry Garash sy'n. Cosni sydd rydw i gael ab y. Gen mahar fi eich Shit. Left cross, Horrigan generated is him. En Cuthbert terug als net jaar. Pedro Martinez. Kwaad. Ze kornlig. In de kloeg er nikken. En misschien voor een pivot. Ze niet geschaam bal haast, niet ook. Nicola Doherty. Risha McLaughlin's booking's a strange one. It's not the first time tonight she's been left sort of unhappy at the options she's been given from a throw, and that's something that maybe takes a wee while to work and to bed in when you get a new coach in.
Yeah, of course. I think when we talk about set pieces, you instantly think about corners, but throw-ins are equally important. And Rachel, like in the first half, got frustrated there and has earned herself an unfortunate yellow card.
Such fóin big fóstruúilis in McClellan down. Cachluch rash gonna be ein chabulke nistigi heen selemi. Na meg fisser weeke de hier pikken op jaren heen we hebben Navarres. Corsi a tokal na bisen. Cachluch rash gili Alexander a fóin bi u eisiau gahard shachad. Correct, ik er mag eens vaar, kijk, had er fijn aslisch ondertussen. Zo een oorlog, er soort jaren heen. Begin je Camden eentje vaarst, voor de klucht er een halve. Ik dacht een uur eigenlijk. Ik vaart je een heel eenvoudig. Het nog eens sloeg mogelijk. Begin, er tijd. The first home game coming up on Tuesday, Joel, with Hampden as the official home of the women's national team. It's a bit of a big step, isn't it? It's maybe a shame it's not a bigger game than the Faroes, but they would hope for a comfortable victory against the weakest team in the group.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting time for the women's national team, and the players will be looking forward to playing in front of their friends and their family, and we'd like to think that we'll get a big crowd regardless of the opposition, just because of the magnitude of the game itself and the kind of historic event.
Spain have set the bar for that one, 10-0 winners over the Faroes last night.
Yeah, it was a goal fest for Spain last night, and I think for us as Scotland, we need to ensure that we see ourselves through that game regardless of the scoreline. The 3 points is the most important thing.
And then what feed on the Budapest. Hungary, Johnny, Alaba, Heen, natuurlijk Erin Cuthbert en Jiffer haast. Hier gaan het richting het Rigol. Al van de parken aan de Rudeguti. En dan hebben we Jola gaan kijken vaak meer even in je klootje. Hemsley. Kimmer Huri bal schön trägige. Schon ist schon McClelland. Oh, was schön trug weil an McClelland die hier nach Halva. Martha Thomas le forsten. Toy horik in de bal was schön gestudig le. Lana McClelland af Corey in the biar. That's another chance. Joel going and begging. You would really hope Lana McClelland would do better in that position.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate slip for Martha in the build-up. She recovers well.
How she gets that ball through, I'm not quite sure.
But she does, and I think Lana potentially snatches it. I think she does have another half a second to allow that ball to drop ever so slightly more, which would give her a better connection, but she's not, and she's kind of snatched it, and it's went over the bar.
Trítáilig on the Serie A, who are Gana, Hellas Verona, who are Utah, and Juskipige, Fiorentina. Trítáil. On 3 games in the Mason, Lana McClelland. Martha Thomas Heen, the toll. Man United, now Leicester City. Skipping Sophie Howard at the Vinky. Developing new. Woensdag door is een trekker, maar zo van je maanbal als het een mee in het park. Alapa zag gehaast. Gost Hurricane Jin, Diana Chani. Vanochtend terug in wat behimplichen. Kunnen we via meer een versmaak. Chani, een volgende cast, Jin. De kroeg aan Lana McClelland. Voelde kroeg in ik geheen. Skipper goal Adeyesian. En misschien toch gaan maken ze. Ja, heen geworden via de QU en een lekker monger. Grimshow. Junima Fouimpi. Ken who's a line it, Cormac Stoke Galabanish. Surge Thomas. Cuthberts, Emsley as a V, Hanation, good Dinyak, a corner. They Galap it. Kelny, Kishias. You can quite often tell on a player's face if they're happy or not with quite how that turned out, and you could tell Martha Thomas wasn't best pleased with the ball she played in, or how that came to be in the end. You know.
She certainly wasn't. She found herself in acres of space there, and I think she tried to pull it back to Erin, which, in my opinion, was probably not the best option there. Probably slipping it in between that channel of doubt in front of the goalkeeper and behind the defenders would have been the best kind of pass there. So she certainly won't be happy with that.
Emsley Lish. But beat on my toe Thomas the Helm, hij Jeffrey aan de Haneke, de vaart happy, Cormac Croeg, Tahuris, a genisht, heisje een tol een daarne tol in de game, agus een tol ha vaak al lappe, rot piknis koorstellen als de game ze, koike tol leegjes te galappe, daarne tol een genoeg, Martha Thomas, het Jennifer Hopper, it's an excellent header. Joelle, it's just the goal that Scotland needed, but it's so well taken.
Very well taken, and she'll be delighted with it. She actually checks, goes away to then come and meet the ball, which kind of buys herself some time and space, and she just guides it into the side netting there. So she'll be delighted with that goal.
She'll not be so sorry now that there was only a corner from the previous chance.
Maybe that was her plan.
I think I played with somebody and that was always his plan. I'll get into the middle. I'll play the side for a corner. I'll get into the middle. Albanish scores, look at that. With the Nochas. Glochlan, Nicholas ball in his shachach. Ferrisciliorga Corsi, Jade Girish. How will that change Scotland's mindset now, Joelle? They've been waiting for the second goal. They've been threatening the second goal. They've got it now. Do they change things? Do they try and maintain the way things have been going?
I don't think so. I think they continue trying to do what they've been set out to do. I think that'll be kind of, or have a positive impact on their play, because I think regardless of possession or dominance in a game, at 1-0, the opposition's always in the game and always has a chance. So that second goal will certainly settle the nerves and ease those frustrations, hopefully, to allow Scotland to play with a better kind of freeness and flow to their play.
Particularly when, you know, just with heavy touches and mistakes, they have been giving the ball away in dangerous positions throughout the game. They'd love to just sort of wipe that out and not do it anymore, but they need to keep switched on even at 2-0.
They certainly do, because we spoke about 1-0 there, but even at 2-0, if Hungary get a goal back, you're back to that kind of same situation and scenario. So they do need to remain focused. They need to execute their passes and their touches better, but they need to manage the game now and control the game and see the game out.
Door Zeller, agus Direk Nodge Irigolje, agus Adrian Olach Iringer, agus Petra Kotchan. En she kloeg is hier aan Jack Hoffenheim, Olach kloeg ik ETO. Zet Olach tafel maar hit, arven naig drijf, ik hoe is gaan naig. She is nader gekoju. Emsley, Gagutch, Kahamala, the far Kuchok. So has down Kitaraf, Toshin Herb, the Nungaran Rash Kitaraf. Mach and Olivier Skerskilor. Balmavishin. Masant the Gamas and Cuthbert device, and another Snagro. BT was a line at Thomas Covistay shot. By hier het haring crash, Gachurschen staat daar ik het Thomas rehast. Cleland ik balskanjel Cleland Lana Cleland. Cor ik het in de piare rish van Junsi van had, waar hier les staat, de Shinjech Gian. Ach rish en Corum Keiltje, ik Lana Cleland. That's beautiful bit of play there by Martha Thomas to slip in Cleland. The defender seems to have done really well against Cleland, who should still probably do better.
Yeah, she's recovered well, given Lana probably had about 2 or 3 yards on her, but Martha created that, and she's been an absolute handful since she's come on. You see there Lana tries to open up her body to take the ball on her right foot, but could have potentially taken it on our left a little bit quicker.
Rachel Boyle dul hir agus game Christy Grimshaw Shahad. You'll be pleased to see your teammate getting on the pitch and maybe in a midfield role as well. She's had a few runs at fullback for Scotland over recent months, recent times. She'll be more than happy to get a wee go in midfield.
Yeah, she'll be delighted. She predominantly played fullback for the national team when she was involved previously. However, with her club at Hib, she has played predominantly that kind of central midfield role, that kind of number 10 role, and she can do that excellently well. She's intelligent, and she knows that kind of 1 or 2 yard step to the left or the right is probably better than that kind of lung busting 10-15 yard run forward. So I'm excited to see what Rachel can do in the last 13 minutes here.
Féin chom go Rachel Boyle. Noch gegeben rige déiche. Keisio gileor ga Margaret Kratz, coachúr na Hungary. Hanna ge max in noin in Spain eige varst. Ek an dai. Han je lacher die shoulder on. Javier is as na show Spain skipping shot. Kormen show stoge. Spaanse shot as a box as a boeien alla de stoge. Dan gaat het Jenny Ploeg makkelijk als ze boxen achterheen. Skiel de bal. Die met Olach ga jullie heen. Dan gaan we eens jaag. Kondig en wie en hier is go 4 kondig. McLaughlin en Alexander. Daar je gaat ik een kolig. Ik ga me mag. Sta hint there voor een doos weer. You think it's probably going out, you're not properly switched off, and then it comes in, you go, oh dear.
Yeah, I think so. I think Nick's probably turned thinking that the ball's going out. The player does well to get to it and pick out our player in the box, and fortunately it lands in Lee's hands there. Again, that's one of those moments at 1-0 and 2-0 that if that goes in, you're kind of backs to the wall for the last 10 or so minutes.
And you do not want the ball breaking to you in that kind of position if you're Rachel McLaughlin. Put the side onto the goal, not knowing where it's going to hit you. Cheich minute in a minute she grigol irreguloch. En op we gaan natuurlijk het ploeg koorstal ach. Dan hebben we het een kloetje met het koor. Weet de nu kun je net toch huis assen zo. Cuthbert de pennen zo goed. Kunnen we stogen. Gaan je mee je laven voor drie molachjes. Jill de goeie dan naar Hungary. Verraking. De kassen de challenge geworden. Big game for Hungary on Tuesday. They play Spain. They won't relish that task with all these sort of strained ligaments and muscles and tweaks that they seem to be suffering.
No, they certainly won't. It's not a game that you want to go into kind of under strength. But I think I've been pretty impressed with Hungary tonight. They've been very resilient and resolute, and their defensive shape has been very good in my opinion. It's kind of limited us and the chances that we've had and created in the final third.
Cora Marcussen. Dat is een 3 in de vaak Lee Alexander. Ola Chaneg hier, Ries van Cuthbert. Nahui. Cleland. En Thomas van Camillishkal. Cleland in de verhaal. Thomas Tronemi. Emsley. Short online glie. If he were tight, who are even Doherty. Scobiti. I guess the Alexander Nish, Rachel McLaughlin. Ruin Gies stogen. In de verhaal. Waar ik ruin je heen. Nu snugel kiljoor of rasje naar goede terechtje. Thomas Riest. Afhalf. Association. Get the Henry Shakhtar Sabo. Spain clearly the sort of the form team in the group. They're the highest ranked team we know after Barcelona's fantastic Champions League victory. Spanish football is on a high. They will be a tough test for Scotland when it comes to the games in November and then April next year.
Yeah, they certainly will be. They're definitely the team that Scotland will be looking to kind of compete with at the top end of the group. I think the way the fixtures lie, it'll be good for Scotland to get a good run of kind of games under their belt going into those fixtures. So hopefully we can build a bit of momentum going into that and take a bit of success into that as well.
And a friendly match against Sweden announced today, I think, for towards the end of October, which would be good preparation for that, just after meeting Hungary at Hampden.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly a lift and opposing kind of quality going into the Spain game. So I think that's probably the reason, or one of the reasons why they've took that game.
Corm Shaw, Sar Corm, oh, Claire Emsley, gefast goed. Gerwa Bullocker Treishergi, ach, well, gaan je daar gooien, akkoord 3 Johnny Viaun. It should be 3. It should probably have been 3 before now, Joel, but there's no two ways about it. What a chance for Claire Emsley.
Yes, and an absolute sitter there for Claire. I don't know how else to describe that. She'll be bitterly disappointed not to kind of find the back of the net there. It was a tap in.
They do everything right as well. Martha Thomas takes up a great position. She has a wee look. She knows where Emsley's going. She goes one way, she checks, she comes back. It's all perfect until the very end.
Exactly. All we needed was the finish.
Godriek, session 4 gedaan. En ik heb holt terus. Ik vat de warachtuil om de gameball korsje. Ik hoor barachtuil wie ze game. Ze geter af akkoord galop in het koorstel ach. Ik had hier wat holletje. De ga ik in Johnny. En met dus het hoorschijn voor live. Kan me zo gedaan. Stoog een keer een Cuthbert in de valaf. Ja, en dan ga ik zitten de games leren. Zeg, vast een zaal in echtje. Bal er allemaal. Tripletje zo ook. Rachel Boyle mee in de park. Dat gaan jullie de shit hier. Het is verder ging. De schach. Ik ga een game. Gaan dat we gaan een keer voor een kies. Hij verder kan shit. Met een gas. Dat is mijn neuperen. Ja, geen schacher. Oeh, als een kost. A very painful look in that one for your Hibernian teammate Joel.
Yeah, those ones are the worst. The studs on the top of the foot there. So the ones where in the initial kind of impact, it's so sore. But Rachel will certainly run that off and see the game out. I'm sure.
It's worse at the time than it is a few minutes later. Usually, you hope.
Yes, of course. We see her up on her feet there running about. So yes, that's good to see.
It was 3-0 the last time, the only time Scotland have played Hungary before in Shelley Kerr's first game. You featured in that one. 3-0 it should be now. Do you think Scotland have it in them still to at least get one more goal? Goals could be important in this group.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just over 5 minutes to go, and I don't think Scotland will settle for the 2. I think they'll continue to press forward and push for more goals, and they've certainly got them in them, especially with the substitutions, who, in my opinion, have made a great impact.
Martha Thomas is Lana Clellan June for a Venki. Thomas Vein en naar de tuil. Sharon Cuthbert de tuil Vein is hier te galappen. Sabo, hoek zag de vrep finish. Dan nu Cuthbert en Gormer in tuil. Vrep finish er halen de bekijken, maar gewoon de ju. Nee, Soch, Achel Cuthbert gain. De naar de korm. Doherty en als Rachel Boyle ha. Makilioren is pas maar van kutje gemaakt hoe Emsley ach va. Schitter lieve kema le arve fiet le la Turaniek bij Leverkusen. Boyle de pas maar hele. Alexander FHU goal in dikken. Person bal reunige goedje mag van de goal. Ga ik zo in niet gevaar scoren. Geen manager met golf. Hungary in de rood gedaan. Gaan hier gaat alappe. Kan ik de koek dus ja manager met hierig. Dan Havax, dan Jakiljaif, dan ga je het raast. Thomas. Dus we gaan aan een keer vaak. Fijn tol, de kroegig. Ja, net 3 kormelen, de gooi je er een hele. Glochlen, Nolke, Doherty. Hier is Rangers. Boyle, Kibbs. Emsley en Ischt. Het is weer vanaf van de Waal gewoon. Met terug met de nieuws, hier is het er vanaf de vluggeters van Negi. Rasha, Lisa Robertson, Kaule Kassen, Nish, Likele, Vago in je uit haast. Louis Carmel uit de stochen. Ze Cuthbert de Waal naar een joper waasje. Het al Rasherson. Gian, goed uit de lele Gian Nichtke. Gorsje in de maag. Goed. Wat de fijnste zin aan de berg, de kliënten Cuthbert lekker leswee. Ach, hij misleert in de jaren de vaak. Garoei verder een Cuthbert nu. Daar in het goal. You said they wouldn't settle for it, but it is beginning to feel as if they're settling for the 2-0 at this point. Although Hungary are, again, they're playing that high line against them and putting the high press on them.
Yeah, of course. It certainly looks that we had comfortable pressure there, and we're playing it along the back line, and including Lee, and we try and go forward and lose it there. So we need to be careful about what we're doing and when we're doing it. But Hungary are come out. They're pressing high, which is essentially leaving space in behind. So we need to be identifying that and exploiting that.
Ruime groeige peen. Zit man van Vago. Scholte de Walde. Ach, dat past terug. Emsley. Geen Lisa Robertson. Boyle. Unicaliore de Walde. Echt een vaste goeie Emsley. Thomas kan hier in de willen hier dat. Ballemach, schab ik Kafik Samir Doherty, Shohan Wall. Aarogille het al geen in draast. En ga je. Coaching hier is ook Chloe Arthur. En fijn in Gorm hier. Agus Lauren Davidson, coaching hier. Zijn hier game Chloe Arthur in Aston Villa. Chinishach, agus Lauren Davidson in Glasgow City. Het al gleich te galappen. Er zo'n hier door. Hier gaat beetje. Davidson is the match Emsley. Always a nice moment to get your first cap, even with a minute of normal time and a few more to go. The nerves will be running for Lauren Davidson.
Yeah, they certainly will. Lauren will be delighted with that, as will our family, and it's very well deserved. All she needs to do is replicate her form for Glasgow City and the remainder of the game tonight, and she'll be absolutely fine.
She'll get 6 minutes.
Yeah, perfect.
Cassis Jackerson, Laren Cuthbert. Shall up out in the cushion with Buck to League Live. Ik heb pijn in de keel van lang de Munger is in. De verder is Munger. Het is een hier toe gekeken, de counts en de slekkassen. Ga je niet zien. De narne kassen. Boyle. Cleland, Thomas in Ish, Davidson, Ailo Gilliard, Davidson go his stage up, my Joey van Van Hoshach, oh my Joey Sivahan, Kovac, Jenna Magaridu, I had before the Kovac the Kassenach, Lauren Davidson the Kain nach 30 Kasserishin. It's a bit of a miracle challenge that by Kovac, given I think she's got one leg, but Davidson will be disappointed she couldn't just hold off the challenge.
Yeah, she's recovered well there. I think what an introduction that would have been for Lauren, but it's probably come too soon. They always say about getting your second wind after about 10 minutes. She's obviously not got that, but she probably would have liked a couple of more involvements before that through ball.
Bedolarash, Kelly Alexander. Riesterach, Kushne Fiskel, the Lapis, Hapuring out Brahagoler, Corum Nerviglana, Clellan, Cormick, Jane Moss is here, Lea Kujok, Martha Thomas. Gamas er een Noshan, Josh Hamar is een dol, en Menaver is een jun. Arthur, Arash go, BT. Doherty, is het al van Noshan. Kevin Dicken. En alles gaan jullie al bescheren in de rest houden zo. Maar hij kijkt jou daar. Doherty, kan je niet, café een eentje dat is naar het scharen zijn. Maar je hebt een chicken in de goske zich horen, dus nog een lekker loog in de magas café. Cuthbert, Cormachos toch Cleland, oh Cormarie Sheke. God, de Cleland der havelde gemal is such. Is groep kuste gritjes aan de naar Cleland Hurricane Sheke grote jachin. Shin Shachat or such. More than a half chance this for Lana Cleland. She's again tried to open up her foot round the ball there.
Yeah, of course, she'll probably be disappointed with our first initial touch. However, she gets the break of the ball and gets a shot away, and it's a good save from the goalkeeper.
It didn't look like Scotland were playing for the third chance. They almost had, for the third goal, they almost had the chance handed to them. There hasn't been a huge amount of urgency. They're more interested in running down the clock.
Yeah, we saw Martha there and Nicola.
Oh, Cormachog, Martha Thomas, Gomelishkel, Joel. Thomas is there. Unje gekjal de hoek al sabelig mal is such a Hungary gleeg uur is uur. Cuthbert de 34 besjach. Ishikiri prep finish. Gaan je luid gerated aan de zinketa. Cuthbert de dol haast. Is het al genossen. En het in je vastgeren. Wat in je vaak al. De nodige Cuthbert zou je nu laat heen. Koogluchtje. Zit toch het er nog een keer. En is je kunt toch een keer in de wand. John Boyle, with Palma trekken, Thomas. She really has to do better than that, Joelle, doesn't she? I think the goalkeeper doesn't buy her dummy. She's giving her the eyes and she doesn't buy it. Yeah,
she doesn't buy it. She does do well because she stands her ground, but Martha needs to do better. She needs to pick a side and go for it. It was an easy save in my opinion for the goalkeeper.
Not a bad ball either from Rachel Boyle.
Yes, Rachel Boyle making a big impact there. It's the simple but effective pass that Rachel always chooses to play, and she does it fantastically.
Lauren Davidson, Jenna Marshin. Fein Cassachach and Kutchan, if he actually put the Gnocro and Nungere. The Corman in the week, I'll up a shot in a keen chuck for Hanate. Corman in the week, if you says the chicken me, Eric. Nungere Puchtig. And the Camcarna Park for Helling Halappe. BT Lickalish. Alchinamach Rees in the rock hard. That's a bit of a relief for Scotland, Joel. Things were just getting a bit tense there for that minute, having missed the chances at the other end and giving Hungary a bit of possession. Yeah,
and that's sometimes how things go. You can have a chance, and then you can come down the end of the park and find yourself a goal down. So yeah, we just need to kind of see out the next 30 seconds or so, manage the game and take the 3 points back to Scotland.
We're going to be quite short of time. Let's count our chickens slightly with 30 seconds to go. If it's 2-0 at the end, will Scotland they'll be happy with the 3 points first and foremost?
They certainly will. I don't think they'll be happy with the performance, but they would have come out here to Hungary to get the 3 points, and they've certainly achieved that tonight.
And would Pedro Martinez Losa have looked upon this as a learning experience as much as anything else? He's not even had a friendly to get himself into the job properly. Yeah, of course. He's only had a few days prior to this game tonight, so he'll, I think, overall be delighted with the outcome. 3 pointen te galappen as hij hier game met nimmer steravi. Or son Kupen Krinig, Daviel is 3, Harichet, Gakinori, Kinirig of the Budapest, the Pearl, the Cuthbert, Agus Thomas, the Gleig in game te galappen. Cuthbert, the Breen was rated, Uxlachi Manurden, Agus and Nungere, Torshoch líniúr, van goedjuur, jats in de kaul. Ik en hij, Arthur en ik de vaak, die nog als een minuutje bij Jirig. Ach, Thomas is Cleland, een jiffer, Guirid naar Hanik at Joel will have a quick look through some of the best moments in the game. The goals that came, Erin Cuthbert did well to create the opportunity for herself, was strong in the challenge and kept her nerve when she'd missed the penalty.
She did. It was a poor penalty, and Erin will certainly allude to that as well, but she'd done well to get on the end of the rebound and finish it with her weaker foot.
Scotland needed that because they were looking nervous, and again in the second half they needed this goal because things weren't quite working the way they wanted it to.
They certainly did. The goals come at the kind of best times for Scotland, and they were important times because, like you said and alluded to, there were times whereby Hungary were in the ascendancy and they were kind of getting a foothold in the game. So important goals at important times of the match tonight.
An important 3 points. Joel, Kate Milatang, thank you very much. Joel Murray, va kondra in Oaks. If he's a rash kondra in Camden, Eiche Varst. Hier game ik skippen de halap of stuur Pedro Martinez losa. Agus ik dachi urake Park Camden heen Helen Farach. Het je niet heli. Eiche Varst. Gelor heen hier in jullie jachkense. Maar geta koers hier nog kupen in Camden. Kan nog schilligen naar Lovett, Bio en Mossfield. Fesker, notion is aan hier in Eiche. Permission dan if jaar in zo'n Ross County in the Hearts van de Free League. Agus Fesker is apen. Je kupen in Krunige rugby en names is a basic al op notion as a rugby. En nu in Spanje hawl is een game tulig. Fesker is apen. Is je bisschen terug de galappe. Riest. Daar hulken Johnny, maar die had de kies in die riest. Alla per server hawl on the Budapest. Goeie en gewaar.